Hello, thank you for joining me on Humanities Radio. I'm Jana Cunningham with the University of Utah College of Humanities. Today, I'm speaking with Ethan Cisneros, a current student studying strategic communication and co-founder and president of Thirst Drinks. Ethan is here to talk more about how he started Thirst Drinks while studying for his degree. So for those who are not familiar with Thirst, I am very familiar with it.
Just so you good.
Know. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we get into more questions?
Yeah. Do you want me to go into the backstory or just what the business is itself?
Just what it is and how people can visit what they can get.
Yeah.
There.
So what I like to say is it's a destination for a drinks and treats experience. And so this isn't just for soda lovers. This isn't just for cookie lovers. We've got everything in between. And it's really an overall experience is what we sell. You know, drinks and treats are our commodity, but what we sell is an experience. And so, yeah.
And where is Thirst located?
So our main store is downtown, 1300 South, just west of State Street. We've got a couple other stores, though, in a catering line. We've got one in the Jazz Arena. We've got a location actually up on Upper Campus here in the Heritage Center. We're opening one up. We're building one on 3300 South in Mill Creek right now. And, just all around the Salt Lake Valley.
So why don't you tell us a little how you actually got started with this? You were a student when you started this.
Yeah.
And so how did this all come about?
Well, so before I even came to the U, entrepreneurship was my thing. And so when I was in high school, I started a shaved ice business, if you're familiar with those. And I ran that while I was in high school. So every summer I was up there 24/7. I learned how to hire employees, learned how to do marketing. And then came to the U my freshman year, ended up deciding that I was done with the shaved ice after I'd done that for a couple years, but I was really excited about business and came to the U. And my freshman year, one thing led to another, and we started working on Thirst. And so our first location is that one I was mentioning, 1300 South, just west of State Street. So basically, the summer after my freshman year was entirely spent at that location doing all the renovations, painting the store, getting everything ready. And we really built the brand from the ground up. I'm talking like everything from logos, ideas of what we wanted to run the company on, menus, and then hiring, and then all the processes and systems in between. And so that I kind of did my freshman year. And then since then, last 4 years, coming on 4 years. So we've been open for about 3.5 years, Thirst has. And that's what I've been doing. And so I've been working a lot. I've always been working a lot ever since I was little. That's kind of been what I like to do. And it's been really fun.
So what type of resources did you have access to and that you utilized either on campus or off campus that were really helpful in getting this business started?
Yeah. So one thing that I didn't do is raise a bunch of money or, get a big loan or anything like that. The way I got any of the funding that I did have was I had a business partner in the shaved ice who had kind of watched me work hard and fronted a little bit of money for us to start Thirst. And so I didn't go out and try to raise a ton of money, which I think is important to learn how to run a practical business first, before you go out and try to build the next big app or, next big company that costs millions of dollars to start. I'm really glad that I took the route of building a real practical business from the ground up with no money. And so that's taught me a lot. The resources that I've used, though, over anything, hands down, has been connections. A lot of people say it's all about who you know. I don't believe in that fully. It's only about who you know, but it really helps, And so that's been huge for me, whether it's connections in my fraternity on campus, whether it's connections in the classes I've taken, the people I've met in programs like Lassanne. It's really been helped me, and it's put me in the best position to succeed, hands down.
Can you talk a little bit more about Lassanne? Because it is a huge resource on campus that I don't think everyone utilizes. So can you talk a little bit about how they helped you?
Yeah. So to be totally transparent, I didn't raise any money from Lassanne. I've never set up an office there. What I have done from them is what worked for me, and I think that's important. And so what worked for me was networking with the people inside of there. I initially got my little jump in there from a marketing class that I took as part of the entrepreneurship certificate. Then I got to kind of know people in there. They let me know how they can kind of help me. So the marketing arm from Lassanne definitely helped us. They pushed out things on their University of Utah resources and outlets. And so I think it's important, like when talking about Lassanne, like the only thing that I think about a lot where I think people get caught a little bit is Lassanne is it's a program to help you go do. And I think that's important to remember, that you're supposed to be going out and doing, and so don't just get stuck inside of there thinking about your idea or, ideating or thinking about all the different ways to do it. The best way to learn is to go do. And I think they push that more than anyone else. And so using their resources to then go do is the most important thing. So that's what I tried to do. I stayed in go mode. I stayed in do mode. And I used things like teachers and, outlets where they were willing to help me market and ways we could cross promote and cross market. And so I found a lot of success in that. And it's been a really great program to work with.
And so we've talked a lot about how things have been working out and how you have been working so hard, ground up, building this business. What are some of the bumps in the road you have encountered, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, when I say I've really started it from zero, like I really mean that. And as people listening probably know, businesses don't make profit right off the bat, and so I was definitely the one working every single shift for the first year, and I'm still there all the time, but I was really actually making every single drink that went out the window for the first year. And I would say the first 10 months, even going on longer, of that business, I was really looking at it and be like, oh crap, like what am I supposed to do here? Like, you don't just open your doors for business and people come flooding in. And I think that's a lesson that every business person learns. And the way that you learn it is up in the air. But the way I learned it is I really had bills to pay. And I had to look at myself and be like, okay, I can either go out and work on my product, make sure I'm doing the best possible product, doing aggressive marketing, using all the tactics, all the resources, all the time that I have, to get better and get more customers through my door. And so, it's been pretty intense. So I learned that kind of by a slap in the face about a year in, but it's really kind of catapulted us, and we work really hard now to get a lot of customers.
So I can tell just by listening to you talk that you must work a ton of hours with Thirst, right? So, and I know you've had to take maybe a step back from classes to focus on your business. How do you manage that? How do you manage school and this business? And it sounds like clearly your business is your main focus right now, and you're doing an amazing job. So how are you incorporating school into that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not about, a lot of people will ask me, oh, how do you get all this energy, or how do you work that many hours? It's more to me about priorities. It really is my priority over, and people close to me will tell you, really over almost everything, and I'll put it in front of myself almost all the time. And so it really isn't about how many hours I work. It's just kind of what I do, because that's my priority. And so it is what I do only, and so this is actually the first semester that we're opening a new store, like I said. So that involves hiring double the staff I currently have, transforming all my systems to a new store. We're building that store pretty much from the ground up. We're gutting it and rebuilding it. So that's been an increased workload for me. So this is the first semester that I haven't been taking classes at the same time. But how do I balance it is I pick my priorities, and I kind of sleep in my own bed too. I realize that sometimes my school isn't going to get 100% of my main focus, but I'm okay with that. And I'm there to still learn. I'm there to still connect with people. But I think priorities is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think that's key. And I think that's great that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for students seeking to start their own business?
Yeah. I think I touched on it earlier, but my number one advice is to pick a business that you can build from the ground up right now with no money and start making profit. That is the best way to learn how to do a business. That's how I did it. That's how most of the top entrepreneurs do it. Relying on your school degree only is definitely not the best way to be the top entrepreneur. And so use these programs, use school to get what you need for your business out of it, and the degree is not going to be the only thing that you need. You know, it can help you, can put you in, definitely can put you in the best position to succeed, but going out and building a real practical business and learning those skills is by far the most important part. I always say I learn by doing. Like, learning by doing is my whole thing. And so I would say start a business, whether it's washing windows, whether you can sell the clothes that you have in your room, whether you can do anything that makes a little bit of money, do some type of service, provide some type of product, do it totally online, anything. Before you go out looking for funding and trying to start your big thing, it might be best to learn some practical hands-on skills. And so that would be my advice.
That's great advice. So where do you see your career in 5, 10 years, 20 years? What is your hope for your career?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Which is an okay answer.
I try to not set long-term goals, because I think one of my strengths as an entrepreneur and just kind of a businessman is I pivot really fast, because I think the world's changing so much. The way that we communicate is changing so much. The way I built my business literally 1 year ago is entirely different than the strategies we're using today. And I just don't know where that's going to take us. I think in the long run, I want to be an entrepreneur that people looked at and was like, that guy is really nice. You know, I like his businesses brought value to me, and maybe I learned a lot from him too. So I don't have one specific goal in mind of where Thirst is going to be or where other businesses that I'm building around are going to be, but I'm just planning on going as hard as I can, you know, making the most of every moment, and just kind of pivoting whatever I think's best in the moment.
Wonderful. Ethan, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Fun.
Before we close, can you tell people your Instagram handle? Because it's really, the Thirst Drinks Instagram handle is really engaging. So I'd love for people to check it out.
Yeah. So that's been one of the main ways we've actually built Thirst, is becoming part of the community through the main communication channels, and that is Instagram, you know? And so Instagram is kind of the player of our society right now. So yeah, at Thirst Drinks is our main Instagram handle. We love to engage with people. We love to bring a lot of value there and tell people about our great products. I also document kind of my entrepreneurial journey of building my businesses, which is right now Thirst at Ethan from Thirst. So pretty easy handle there too. Just kind of document my days, give out any little business tips that I have, and it's a lot of fun.
That was Ethan Cisneros, a current U student studying strategic communication. For more information about the College of Humanities, visit humanities.utah.edu.